Ah, you must be an adventurer. Welcome to the Potion Shop.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Potion Shop. Today, we're talking about the Prophecy Dungeon. We're talking about the eyes, the urns, there's some cheese, secret chest, emissaries. There's a whole guide at the end. We got a lot to talk about. Thanks for checking it out. Look in the description for the timestamps. All right, you're still here. Welcome. We're going to start off by talking about the cheese. Cheese is very straightforward. You can just jump up here on the ball, jump up here into the side at the very beginning, and use your sword to climb up to the very top. Having ammo in the sword makes this significantly easier to do, although it is possible to do without sword ammo. Once you're up to the top, you can jump up here. The jumping part is extremely difficult in my opinion. And that's all there is to it. You get over here, swing your sword a few times. Once you get close enough, you'll get the checkpoint. Then everybody on your fire team can kill themselves, and you will be starting the boss encounter. You're welcome. Alright, so for the next thing, it is the secret chest. There are 2 secret chests currently available in the raid that we know about. The first one is in the first sand area, where you're having to defeat the Taken Blights. You'll go in here, you'll have to crouch to get in. Once you get in here, you'll have the chest. Do note that these chests can only give you loot that you've already acquired from the Prophecy Dungeon. So if it's your first time running this, you're only going to be able to get loot from the first encounter, and you'll just get a duplicate. This is the second chest. It's on Rainbow Road at the very end before you go up in the teleporter. You go back here in the back corner. You'll find a little hole, and it'll show you a path to the chest. If you're interested in the music, all this music is my music. You can check it out on my YouTube, and you can check out my Twitch as well in the description. Now for the eyes. These are Savathun's eyes. Most people go after these for the achievement, the Triumph, right? There are 5 of them in the dungeon, and in order to destroy them and get progress towards the Triumph, you'll have to have the new exotic that was introduced in Season 11. Eye number 1 is around the first encounter. Eye number 2 is in the sandy area near the Vex Construct. If you don't know how the sandy area works, basically there's 4 different areas for the 4 planets that are being destroyed by the darkness. The third eye is at the boss encounter in the hexagon, or whatever this thing's called. The fourth eye is on your way to the second secret chest. You can find the second eye by looking down before the jump. Now, the fifth eye is difficult, and you'll probably need a dedicated fire team to get to it. Basically, you have to be in the planet rotation on the final boss encounter. And at the top of the room, you'll be able to see Savathun's eye. This one was definitely the most difficult, in my opinion, of the eyes. Now, onto the urns. There are 12 urns. The reason you get these is for a triumph. There is literally no other reason that I'm aware of for getting these urns. There are 12 of them in the Prophecy Dungeon, like I said. Once you acquire all 12, you will get the triumph complete. Alright, that's it for commentary on the urns. If you guys want to put this at ×2 speed so you can see where they're all at, go right ahead. Or look into the description for the timestamps for the next part starts up. right. So this is the 12th urn. You have now got all 12 and completed the Triumph. Congratulations on getting the Triumph complete. Now, our next topic is how to save checkpoints on your alternate characters. You get to the checkpoint that you want to save, then you have your teammates join you who are wanting to maybe run the boss encounter for loot, or maybe run the hex room, right, for the Death Adder. Once your teammates join you, you'll leave the fire team, get on your main character, and you'll rejoin the fire team on your main character. In this case, I was saving the checkpoint on my Titan, and I was running the hex room for the Death Adder and farming a whole bunch of those. As you can see, my Warlock has jumped in here. The checkpoint is still saved on my Titan, and so at the end of this, we're going to defeat the bosses, and we'll go back to my Titan. My friends will join me on my Titan again, and I'll change back to my Warlock, and you can just repeat this over and over and over again until you're done. Now, this is the Emissary. This is for a future Triumph located in the second Sandy room. There are 4 of them located here, 1 for each of the planets that are getting destroyed. It's going to be part of an ongoing storyline with Destiny 2 as we approach the Beyond Light update in the future. Look for another video on that in the future. Now, as for weapons, your weapons that you can have as a new character, I would recommend any primary sniper rifle in the Connect slot, Gnawing Hunger for your energy weapon, and Falling Guillotine from the Season Pass in Season 11 for new players. For veteran players, Mountaintop Recluse Anarchy. And then as the mods, you have the mods as well. The mods are going to be Taken Armament and the other one as well. Anyway, let's get into it. This is the guide now. So for the guide, we have here at the bottom of our screen, darkness and light. You can see how they change. If you step into light, you'll have light. If you step into dark, you'll have dark. It's pretty self-explanatory. Once you have learned this mechanic, the next mechanic you'll notice is that there's 2 pillars of darkness and light, right? 1 of each. This is going to be something that you're going to see throughout the entire dungeon, and what you're going to have to combine all these mechanics together in order to complete the current section. Now, how do you destroy these pillars? What do you do with them, right? So if you destroy a knight and you're standing in light, you'll get light motes, right? If you kill a knight and you're standing in the darkness or a shadow, right, you will get dark motes. Once you get 5 of these motes, you will then have a giant mote, very similar to other mechanics we've seen in Destiny so far. Once you go over to the Pillar of Light, the corresponding to the mote we have, you can pop it doing your left click, and there you go. We have one more to do. We have to get the dark motes. Once we have the dark motes, we can go over and complete that, and it will open up the door for us, and we can proceed to the next encounter. Now, one thing you might have noticed here is basically once you have these, you can actually swing yourself forward. In order to swing yourself forward like this, you can do your melee key. So doing your melee key will actually swing you forward, and you can actually move faster by jumping, melee, jump, melee, jump, melee, jump, melee, and rinse repeating to move yourself at a faster pace forward. Now, we're into the second room. In the second room, you're just going to do the same thing all over again, right? They're just making sure you know what you're doing. You're going to destroy the light pillar and the dark pillar, and once this opens up, you'll see Kel Echo, which is the final boss in the Prophecy Dungeon. We're going to fight that boss later on. So it's kind of like a tease for the final boss. Alright, so now we're here at the first boss encounter. You'll see that now you have 2 pillars of darkness, 2 pillars of light, and again, there'll be more knights to kill to get the motes you need for these. Now, once you defeat all these 4 pillars, you'll remove the shield from the boss, and you can actually start your DPS phase. The strategy here is either to put a Well of Radiance or a bubble from a Titan, and then DPS the boss with swords. This is what almost all dungeon groups are doing now, and there's very, very little exception. Once you've got your loot, you can head to the middle, and you can proceed to the next encounter. All 3 people have to be in the middle before you can teleport to the next encounter. The next encounter is a big sandbox. Now, this sandbox, you can pull out your sparrows, and you can race around. Your goal here is to find some Taken Blights. Once you find these taken blights, you'll notice there's 3 of them here, along with some snipers and mobs. And once all 3 of these taken blights are done, you can go to Tolan, who is the Ghostby Wisp. You'll notice at each of these locations, he's and then once you speak to him or hit him, right, get close to him, he will show you the location of the next taken blights. Once you've defeated 9 of these taken blights, 3 sets of 3, right, then you can proceed to the next room. On the final time that you've gone to Tolan, it will give you a sound cue and say the way is open on the left-hand side of your screen. You can see here that there is a box here that has light coming out of it. Even if you can't see the light coming out of it, you can still look for the dark, shadowy box, and you can kind of find the direction that you need to go. The room never changes or rearranges, so once you've memorized where this box is at, you can have it and know where to go every single time. Now, we're in the next encounter. This is the cube room or hex room. Now, here you can see Tolan is here again. He is guiding us on where we need to go in this encounter. Long story short, there are 6 different sides of this cube. And every time you need to unlock another side of the cube and rotate the cube in right, left, forward, backwards. It's kind of a cool minigame in my opinion, a little challenging. One thing you have to know here is whenever you kill a sniper, then a knight will spawn. Whenever you kill a knight, then a sniper will spawn. So there will always be either 2 snipers, 2 knights, or 1 sniper and 1 knight. They'll always be like that, so use that to your strategy. Once you go up and meet Tolan, Tolan will run to one of the sides that you need to rotate the room to. So in this case, it's a white moat. So you go over here, pop it where Tolan's at, and the room will rotate in that direction after we go to the middle. Now what you see here is there's actually no light on the bottom of this box, and once we meet Tolan, then the side of the box will light up. This is a way you can kind of measure your progression on it. Your goal is to get every side of this box lit up, and every time you meet Tolan, another side of the box will light up. Sometimes Tolan will be on the opposite side of you, and you'll have to rotate the cube 2 times. Once you've done this enough times, you'll have the final bosses. They're very easy to kill. A little bit of heavy ammo, and they'll be donezo. Once you've beaten them up, you can get your loot. The way loot works here is pretty straightforward. Every week you can unlock a new drop. So the first week you can only get, so let's say you get the Death Adder the first week, then you will get nothing else but the Death Adder the first week, because you have to wait another week until you unlock more loot from the dungeon. Say second week you get gloves, and you get gloves from the box. Then your loot will be either from that point forward Death Adder or gloves. Every week you'll unlock you're guaranteed to unlock a brand new piece of gear that you've never gotten before until you've unlocked all the gear that the dungeon has to offer. It'll take you 5 weeks to unlock all of the gear. So you can see here, all we're doing is following Kel Echo. They're leading us to the next encounter, and in this case, it's Rainbow Road. It's finally in Destiny. Maybe we'll see some more Sparrow Racing League. But long story short is you have to navigate this and go to the very end. Once you go to the very end, you can teleport up. There's 2 ways of doing this. You can either take your Sparrow and race down these ribbons, which can be a little bit tricky, but you can technically take your Sparrow all the way from the beginning to end without getting off if you're good enough. The second way is you can take the platforms. You can take the platforms from the very beginning to the very end, and this is what generally most new players do because it's very, very... a whole lot easier anyway than doing the ribbons, in my opinion. So once you're down here, you'll be able to take it up. If this glitches out on you, you can get on your Sparrow, and it should fix the glitch, and you'll be able to teleport up. Once you're at the very end, you'll be going into the final boss encounter. Congratulations, you're here. Let's learn the mechanics. So what you'll recognize is very similar to the Hex room, but in this case, there's actually 3 sides to the room, right? You'll have light and dark pillars. Once you defeat these light and dark pillars, you'll be able to go to the damage phase. Every time you defeat a light or dark pillar, a ogre will spawn, so make sure you kill that ogre. Most players are not killing the third ogre, and they're going straight to the middle and teleporting to the damage phase. As for the safe areas, staying around the edge is usually the safest bet if you're trying to avoid damage. You can see that these copies of Kel Echo are going to be shooting out blast. They're undamageable, but they do a lot of damage to you, so be careful about those. Now we've defeated all these pillars. You can see the boss goes to the middle, and we can follow the boss for our DPS phase. There's some really simple mechanics here for the final boss. Basically, the boss can throw out its taken power at you, and if you get hit by that, it'll teleport you. There'll also be some snipers you have to worry about. The two primary strategies for doing DPS to the boss is going to be Anarchy, or putting down a Well of Radiance, or a shield from a Titan, and doing DPS with swords. So either DPS with swords or DPS from Anarchy. Sniper rifles are very underrated in the current meta, and so if you don't have these, don't worry. You can get a sniper rifle and do a good amount of damage with a good sniper rifle. The two good sniper rifles doing DPS here are going to be probably the Moon sniper rifle or either the Ikelos sniper rifle with a good roll. Here's what it looks like when you get teleported. One thing you have to be aware of is when you're far away from the boss, you're going to be getting stacks of entropy. If you get 10 stacks of entropy, then you will die. In order to avoid getting stacks of infantry, just get close to the boss. If you don't have to worry about this, you can repeat this as many times as possible. So if you don't do a whole lot of damage, you can just keep on rotating the sides of the room, going to different encounters, and do as many damage phases as needed in order to kill the boss. Now, some of you might be wondering, hey, how do we get the Pinnacle loot? Pinnacle loot is dropped from Kel Echo, the boss itself. So if you want to get the Pinnacle loot, all you gotta do is get the checkpoint, drop in with your buds, and then kill the boss, and you'll get your Pinnacle loot dropped in your inventory. If, for some reason, you don't get the Pinnacle loot, don't worry, the Postmaster will have it in for you. Once you're done, you'll get teleported to another room, and you'll have some additional loot. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.